So a 14-2 run, bridging the two quarters for the Aces. Boston is tangled up. Jump ball is the call.
I mean, when you reach around from behind to tie somebody up, that doesn't usually get you a jump ball. I mean, I don't know how. Watch this play right here. Look. They're going to call jump ball from behind? Look at A'ja Wilson's like looking at the ref. Aaliyah Boston's like, you got to be kidding me.
What can you do when it's obvious the referees are trying to hand the game to your opponent? If you're the Indiana Fever, the answer is simple. You push back even harder. The matchup against the Las Vegas Aces revealed a troubling side of WNBA officiating, and the proof couldn't be clearer. From suspicious calls benefiting A'ja Wilson to Stephanie White's fiery response, this game had it all. But here's the real story. The moment the Fever players chose not to let biased officiating rob them of their win, and why Caitlin Clark's reaction on the sideline speaks volumes. Share your thoughts in the comments. What's your take on the WNBA refs?
It looked like the WNBA referees has been caught yet again not playing fair with the Fever, with Stephanie White, and she said that's bullshit. She said it's just like that, man. I've never seen Stephanie White curse, bro. She cursed yesterday at the game.
Want to know exactly what pushed Stephanie White over the edge? Let's be honest, coaches don't just explode and lash out at referees without serious provocation. But that's precisely what happened when the officiating became so blatantly one-sided. Even White couldn't hold back her frustration. From the opening tip, something felt off about this game. The calls began flowing in Vegas's favor almost immediately, setting a tone that left Fever fans questioning what they were witnessing. You know what's truly infuriating? When you can predict which team is going to get the favorable whistle before the play even unfolds.
And this moment right here was so egregious, man. I just wanted to point it out. I had to point it out, dog. There was no way, all right, that you can't tell me that the A'ja Wilson whistle isn't a thing.
The breaking point came during a play that revealed everything wrong with WNBA officiating. A'ja Wilson made clear contact with Aaliyah Boston from behind contact that should have resulted in an obvious foul. Instead, the referees inexplicably called it a jump ball. Boston was practically mugged, and the officials acted as if nothing had occurred. That's when White completely lost it. Her raw reaction, caught on camera, showed her shouting in outrage at officials who appeared determined to protect Wilson at all costs.
This is the stuff that pisses me off. Look at hands straight up, another foul in the Fever. The Aces had him up 11 free throws to 2. While we watch these officials, let's watch these screens. They're like dirty plays. You could just see them checking the Indiana Fever all game long. Like, these are not good screens. And then watch this. Another, like, they called so many fouls, sent the Aces to the line.
Here's the thing, this wasn't an isolated incident. Wilson consistently received a level of leniency other players could only dream of. When Boston made identical contact in similar situations, the whistle blew without hesitation. But when Wilson did the same, the referees suddenly developed selective vision. It's the same game on the surface, but entirely different rules seem to apply depending on which jersey you're wearing.
And then look at this. They don't call this a foul. She grabs Aaliyah Boston around the back. That's what Aaliyah Boston's saying. And instead of a foul, they called a jump ball. But I just showed you all the times. And look at this. The Aces player hits it out with her hand. Aerie never touched it again, but they give the ball to the Aces. Look at these fouls. And then look at this. Sophie Cunningham gets knocked over in the back, but they don't call a foul. No foul, and Stephanie White by now, she is pissed.
Sophie Cunningham experienced this double standard firsthand. The same plays that earned her foul calls were completely ignored when Wilson was the one initiating contact. The inconsistency was so blatant that fans were yelling at their screens. Watching referees apply entirely different standards to identical situations, Aaliyah Boston endured the same biased treatment throughout the game. Moves that Wilson executed, without consequence, suddenly became fouls the moment Boston tried them. The pattern was impossible to ignore. Wilson was playing under a special set of rules, while Fever players were penalized for practically breathing too hard.
Stuff the WNBA ignores, then makes foul calls like this on Sophie Cunningham beyond comical. Caitlin will shoot 50 free throws a game if she got this whistle. Now, we know Caitlin Clark has not been seeing a promising whistle from the WNBA referees. And I'm telling you right now, it don't look like she will, man.
This wasn't a coincidence. It was systematic bias designed to keep the Aces competitive in a game where they were clearly being outplayed. The referees were manufacturing opportunities for Vegas, turning what should have been a fair contest into something that felt more like professional wrestling than basketball. The free throw disparity tells the whole story. Vegas attempted 17 free throws, while Indiana only got 12, despite the Fever attacking the basket aggressively all game long. Those 5 extra attempts weren't earned through superior play, were handed out by officials seemingly determined to keep the Aces within striking distance. But here's what the refs didn't anticipate. Indiana's fighting spirit wouldn't break under the weight of corrupt officiating.
Aaliyah Boston was so confused. Look at her, look at her. Aaliyah Boston was pissed. She's like, huh? Man, look, the A'ja Wilson whistle, dog. Unmatched. Only 2 whistles that could match that whistle is Nafisa Collier and Breonna Stewart, dog. Those are only 2 other whistles that can match that whistle, dog. Oh my goodness.
The Fever players rose to the occasion when corruption threatened to steal their victory, and each one landed crushing blows to the Aces' championship hopes. Want to see real mental toughness? Just watch what happened when these athletes refused to let biased officiating break their spirit. Kelsey Mitchell began the game completely out of rhythm, missing her first 4 shots and going just 4-for-19 from the field through 3 quarters all, while battling clear referee bias that disrupted the team's flow. Lesser players would have folded under that kind of pressure. But Mitchell, she saved her best for when it mattered most. The fourth quarter was all hers, 9 points on 4 of -5 shooting, including the game-changing three-pointer that gave Indiana the lead. A lead they never gave up.
Handoff Cunningham. Cunningham too strong. Mitchell able to save the day. And it's Mitchell going right to the rim. Beats the shot clock and lays it in. Mitchell to the rescue.
Sessions very disruptive, causing all kinds of havoc, late shot clock situations. And then Kelsey Mitchell.
Natasha Howard absolutely dominated A'ja Wilson on both ends of the court. She recorded her 6th double-double, posting 18 points on 6 of -9 shooting and grabbing 13 rebounds, completely outplaying the so-called superstar who benefits from every favorable call. Her third-quarter eruption of 11 points erased Vegas's lead and proved to everyone watching that talent beats bias every single time. Howard even drained a rare three-pointer and added 3 steals, making this performance feel like a throwback to the Commissioner's Cup game, the one that had Aces fans heading for the exits early.
That's what Indiana's trying to do here with Vegas.
Mitchell leaves it. Howard open. Knocks down a 3. Here's McDonald. Jitterbug into the paint. Howard, aggressive attack. Left hand. Got it to go. And a foul.
When she gets the basketball in space and she's got a one-on-one, Natasha Howard has a lot to do.
In her last 6 games from the three-point line. Here's McDonald running the floor, doesn't get the whistle, but guess who to clean up?
Aaliyah Boston delivered a double-double of her own, finishing with 13 points and 10 rebounds, displaying a newfound confidence despite being mugged by the refs all night. Her willingness to shoot from deep stretched the floor and created matchup problems that Vegas couldn't solve. When you're getting fouled on nearly every possession and the officials refuse to blow the whistle, you adapt by hitting the kind of shots they can't take away from you.
The league and shots blocked. Pull bounce in front. Knocks down a 3.
Sophie Cunningham continued her red-hot July run with 15 points on 4 of -5 shooting, knocking down 304 from beyond the arc as if they were layups. This performance was just another day at the office for someone shooting a blistering 58.1% from 3 over her last 6 games while averaging 13.7 points. Cunningham's deep range and versatile defense made her the perfect complement to Indiana's core, and you could see the frustration written all over A'ja Wilson's face every time another shot found the bottom of the net.
Offense was not the issue for Indiana on Tuesday. They put up 84 points despite the absence of Caitlin Clark. Cunningham hit 5 threes, and it's her first tonight. Stay with Indiana.
So Sophie Cunningham doing a really good job of reading the stagger. You have options off that, and she's reading the second.
Ari McDonald saved the best moment for last. With 35 seconds remaining and the game hanging in the balance, she buried the clutch three-pointer that sealed Vegas's fate. McDonald went a perfect 3-for-3 from beyond the arc, including that dagger, her only shot of the fourth quarter. Her stat line, 9 points, 4 assists, and 2 steals in just 22 minutes, proving that championship teams are built on depth. Lexi Hull was locking down the Aces players with her trademark hustle and relentless defense, swinging momentum with her signature impact plays. While these athletes were battling biased calls on the court, someone else was waging their own fight from the sideline with just as much intensity.
And look at this travel. This is the craziest thing ever. The ref's right in front of the ref's eyes. This girl's pivoting on 2 feet, jumping around, gets the ball, I don't even know. But Lexi Hull, look at her reaction.
And just look at this travel. It's one of the craziest things you'll ever see. It happened right in front of the referee's eyes. She's pivoting on both feet, hopping around, grabs the ball. I don't even know what that was. But check out Lexi Hull's reaction. And then comes the moment everyone was waiting for. Caitlin Clark completely lost it.
Caitlin at one stage, jumping up off the bench to start screaming.
Clark sat helplessly on the bench, forced to watch as referees systematically tried to steal her team's victory with increasingly blatant bias. Every questionable call against the Fever was like another twist of the knife for someone who lives and breathes basketball. You know it's true torture for a competitor like Clark. Being unable to impact the game while watching officials hand the advantage to the opposing team. The call that triggered Clark's animated outburst stemmed from yet another controversial decision by referees who appeared determined to protect A'ja Wilson. Clark saw what most fans missed in real time, the subtle contact that should have been whistled, the positioning that created an unfair edge, the split-second decision that tilted the game in Vegas's favor. Her reaction wasn't random emotion. It was the instinctive response of someone who understands basketball at the highest level, someone who knows corruption when she sees it.
That's a foul. Ari McDonald goes up and gets hit in the air, no foul called, right? And then they call a foul on her for not even touching a person. That was a foul call on Aaron McDonald. Look at this. And then touch foul, A'ja Wilson. And then here we go. Another touch foul for the Aces. Like, how many times do they call fouls on the Fever, but they want this to be a physical game?
Clark's injury made the experience even more painful. She's used to controlling games with her play, but now she was forced to watch the corruption unfold from the sidelines. Every bad call hit differently when you're powerless to respond. On the court, her visible anger became the voice every Fever fan needed in that moment. Looking for validation, Clark's reaction confirmed what Fever supporters had been shouting all game long. When the best player in women's basketball gets that fired up over the officiating, you know something is seriously wrong. Her frustration wasn't about a single call, it was about recognizing the consistent, blatant favoritism A'ja Wilson receives game after game.
If you smash down hard enough, the officials get super confused. Wilson gets away with these fouls all the time, especially against the Fever. Hey, right. Dang, that's a fact. I forgot all about that one, man. Literally, and she laughs every time, though.
This speaks to a deeper issue, poisoning the WNBA. The league's golden child treatment of certain players undermines its credibility and leaves fans questioning whether outcomes are determined by skill or politics. Clark's reaction exposed that uncomfortable truth for all to see. But here's what this experience will do. For her motivation, do you really think she'll forget watching referees try to cheat her teammates? This frustration will fuel her comeback in ways no amount of practice ever could. She's now seen firsthand how the league protects certain stars, and that knowledge will only make her more dangerous. Even from the sidelines, Clark's leadership and vocal support helped rally her team through adversity. Her presence alone reminded everyone they were fighting for something bigger than just one game. Injured or not, she remained the emotional heart of the Fever, and this without their superstar proves that Indiana is building something truly special for 2025.